So here is my Wii Game On video. I want to talk about pretty much how I got into video games and things like that, and pretty much how video games has changed my life. It all started for me when my older brothers and sisters they had a Nintendo, and I was probably like around like 4 or 5 years old playing, and it was fun. And I got like really addicted to playing video games a lot. Like I was that young kid that just couldn't stop playing. It was almost an obsession. But then I started to like get more into it as I got older, around like 8 or 9. I started playing fighting games. There was like this car wash down the street from my house. They had Street Fighter 2, and I was completely obsessed with Street Fighter. Like I played every day. Anytime I had 25 cents, I would go run there and try to play, and I just had to play it every single day because I didn't have enough money to really go and buy a console at the time. So going to the car wash, going to the arcades was kind of like my thing. I did that a lot growing up, and it gave me an activity to do because I wasn't really good at sports. I wasn't really artistic at the time. I wasn't really good at a lot of things, but video games was the thing I was good at an early age. Even though fighting games I was really bad at, it took me a long time to get pretty good at fighting games. But I started really young, so I would get really frustrated about losing at fighting games. So I would say when I got to middle school, that's when my life started to change, and I started, go to adolescence and, transitioning to being a teenager. And when you're doing that, you don't understand how your body works, so you don't understand how, your emotions work, and you're just like always crabby and just kind of irritable, and you're just a crazy, irky, like angsty teen. And that was me. And unfortunately at the time I didn't understand anything about depression and how that worked, and I suffered from it really terribly when I was in 7th grade. A lot of people don't know that I actually went through a really hard time during 7th grade in my life, where I was starting to like really eat my feelings. So I was like really skinny, probably 6th grade, and then like 7th grade I just like ballooned up. Like I would just eat every day, and I would just feel so bad and just so upset, and didn't really know how to I didn't know how to channel that emotion anywhere, and I didn't really have anybody to talk to about it. But I remember my love of video games kind of like helped me cope with a lot of things I was going through at the time. Specifically, playing Final Fantasy 7 really helped a lot because I was able to identify with Cloud, because he was like me. He was kind of like, a little depressed, a little angsty, a little emo, and it was great seeing characters like that in a video game, because up until that point I never knew video game characters could have emotions and depth and things like that. So for me it was great to see a character like that, and that's when I really started getting into JRPGs, and that's kind of where my love really stemmed from. And also in school I really hated reading. Like I hated reading books, sucked so bad. Like I just couldn't stand doing it. I hated doing book reports. I hated doing anything related to like reading comprehension. I hated it because I was bad at it. I couldn't retain any information that I would read. And so video games, especially RPGs, helped me to increase my vocabulary and increase my level of reading. I didn't know what the word decipher meant until I played Final Fantasy 7 at the time. Like I didn't know what the heck that meant. I mean, I'm like, what's decipher? And I would go and like look it up in a dictionary. And I like the fact that those games had like a really expanded vocabulary, because it helped me, and it made me more interested in reading and writing, which is funny because at the time I hated both those things a lot. But importantly to this story is that video games has definitely helped me develop as a person, especially my love of writing and journalism stemmed from me playing video games. And it also helped me cope with my battle with depression that I still to this day have to deal with, but as an adult it's a lot easier because I have tools to cope with it a lot better, versus being a 14-year-old kid not knowing how to deal with it. You're just like doing all types of other stuff to try to like find a way to cope with what's going on with you. And it's hard when you're 14 years old, you have friends and they don't understand what's going on with you, and you're just sitting there trying to figure out yourself, and you don't have no real outlet to vent about how you feel. And I felt a lot of times as a teenager I had no one to really go to. And not saying that video games was like a parental figure, but it definitely was a good coping mechanism and just opened my eyes to a lot of things growing up. And it was an escape from what I was dealing with at the time. And I'm glad that I had that, because I don't know where I would be had I not delve so deeply into video games. I think I might be, I don't know, some crazy teen on drugs or something. I don't know where my life would be, but I'm glad that I was able to find a really positive outlet for a lot of my things I was going through, and it helped me find other people in the world that share my same, same love of video games and my same passion for things and all that stuff. Because I didn't never had a lot of friends growing up that was into the same things I was. Like, I had a few friends I did, but as we got older, we started to drift away. So it was hard not having people in my life that love the same things I did. So I can say video games helped me not only become better at school, it helped me better to understand my emotions and figure myself out. And it also helped me get out of my shell too. Like, I was very, very, very shy as growing up. Like, I doing things like this, like doing videos and doing radio and things like that. I probably would never imagine doing at 14. And it's amazing now that I'm this person that I become, and that stems from my love of video games. So yeah, and I'm really thankful that I was able to find an outlet, and now I have like a large group of friends that I go to and hang out with, and people I can talk to, and now I have a love for journalism now too as an adult that I probably wouldn't have had I not delved so deeply into video games. So yeah, that's my story.